guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my monthly review where I sit down, talk about the month and then review some of the books I've read that month. For June I've not really got anything to say. It's pretty much average, the same every day really, doing work from home, watching TV, playing Animal Crossing, doing a bit of painting. Like it's just what everyone else is doing really in lockdown, into it, just getting by each day. But for books, I have managed to read 7 books. Some of them are most of them are quite thin because it took me a while to read this one. But yeah, I thought I'll sit down, tell you a little bit about them. I'm going to just read the blurbs instead of like giving you a whole description about them and just tell you what I liked about it or disliked about them. So we're going to start off with the first one I read, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is a Hunger Games one. So, by the way, I can't say his name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Snow. It's the morning of a reaping that will kick off the 10th annual games. In the capital, 18-year-old Snow is preparing for his one shot of glory as a mentor in the games. The once mighty House of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate hanging on the slender chance that Snow will be able to outcharm, outwit and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the winning tribute. The odds are against him. He's been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute from District 12, the lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely entwined. Every choice Snow makes could lead to favour or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena it will be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Snow starts to feel for his doomed tribute and must weigh his need to follow the rules against his desire to survive no matter what it takes. Now, I gave this one a 5 out of 10. It was interesting. Like, I found it interesting to learn about Snow and learn about the history of the games a bit and like learn about where Snow came from and what made him be such like a grumpy so-and-so in the Hunger Games. But at times it felt very, very similar to just reading Hunger Games in slightly different words. It kind of had the same sort of setup. And I don't know, there's how it finished as well kind of annoyed me because it left me with loads of questions, but I guess now she's got the chance to write another book to follow up on this if she wanted to. But I don't know, it was good. I recommend it if you're a fan of the Hunger Games, but I much preferred the Hunger Games over this one. Like, if this comes out in a movie, I imagine they'll probably end up making this into a movie, but it wouldn't be one that I'd be like, oh my god, I have to see it kind of thing if it did become a movie. It's one of those like, I read it because it was part of the series, I enjoyed it because it was interesting, but it's just, yeah, I feel like it could have done with a bit more substance maybe, I don't know, slightly different like things, or maybe it's just because like I've got loads of questions now that I need to know the answers to, I don't know, but it was alright. Like, it wasn't fantastic, but it was alright. The next one I read was Mrs. Dalloway, Virginia Woolf. Clarissa Dalloway, elegant and I can't say that word, is preparing for a party and remembering those that she once loved. In another part of London, Septimus Warren Smith is shell-shocked and on the brink of madness. Smith's day interweaves with that of Clarissa and her friends, their lives converging as the party reaches its glittering climax. Past, present and future are brought together one momentous June day in 1923. I gave this a 3 out of 10. Now, I always thought Virginia Woolf was like going to be like a really good writer, and fair enough, it's an alright book, but it's so boring. Like, it was interesting how she's linked the characters. She linked Clarissa with the Smith, who's shell-shocked, and like how she develops Clarissa's character and everything, but it's so boring. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to read Virginia Woolf, like some of her books, try some different ones. Don't read Mrs. Dalloway because I don't recommend it. It was boring. That's all I'm going to say for that one. Okay, the next one, I need to cough, excuse me, is A House of Night novella, Dragon's Oath. So for last month I was obsessed with House of Night. I read the whole series, all 13 books, and I got one of the mini ones. So, Dragon Langford wasn't always an instructor of the House of Night. Once he was a student, young, talented and in love, but the mistake that cost him everything might be the key to helping Zoe and the rest of the vampires in their fight against darkness. Okay, I gave this one a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was good to read. I feel like it would have been good as its like own separate story, like a thicker book, like a normal size book, like this size of book instead of this size of book, because it was actually had a good setup to be a really good long story. But obviously it was a short story, so it was rushed and everything. But it was interesting to learn more about his character, because like his character in the House of Night ones is kind of like good, bad, good, bad. He fights within himself, and like he changes and develops. But you learn kind of more about him when he was younger, and then you kind of work out why he was like that and why he was easy to be manipulated in a way. And it's a good idea because, like it says, it's a key to helping Zoe and the rest of the vampires in their fight against darkness. It has a connection to what happens in the House of Night novels. So it was good, and I did enjoy it, and I'm going to try and get the other short stories as well. But I kind of wish that this one, I've got hair all over me, I kind of wish this one was a longer one because I was really getting into it and then it just like ended. Okay, next up. This one, the Fledgling Handbook. So again, this is to do with the House of Night novels. Merry meet fledgling. I trust this guide will serve you well. Every vampire fledgling who arrives at the House of Night receives a copy of the Fledgling Handbook. Inside you'll find original stories, the complete vampire history, inside information into rituals, vampire biology, the change, and much more. Now honestly, this is a really, really cute book for like fans of the House of Night. So I gave this a 5 out of 10. Because it's got like really good drawings in it. I opened to a page that hasn't got drawings, so it's got really good illustrations, and it's really clever how they link history to make it vampires. So they talk about Pompeii, but they link it to vampires. They talk about Caesar, and they link it to vampires. They talk about what's that Celtic Budapest? No. My mind's gone blank. The Celtic lady that was like really awesome warrior that was in like UK. What on earth? Boudica? Was it Boudica? I don't know, my mind's gone blank, but they like link history and change it up to make it into vampires. And it's like really clever, like they go into really, like they've even got Cleopatra. They make it go into like details, and it's like really detailed of like what each thing means, and like it shows that they really thought this out and they like wrote it. And they had some really cool ideas, so like you've got pictures, they had like the rituals. My phone and my laptop just keep making noises. Honestly, I think it was really good, and it has options. Where's pages? There's sections in here that you can write in if you were to like want to pretend that you were a vampire. Like, they've even got William Shakespeare, so you can like write things into it. Unfortunately, because the paper is glossy, it would be hard to write on, but it's a nice concept, and I think is a really cute thing to have if you were a fan of the novels. So yeah, it was a good idea. Next one, Our Little Secret by Jenna Ellis. I gave this I can't talk today. I gave this an 8 out of 10. So, what does it say? When Sophie Henshaw answers an advertisement in The Lady to be the live-in nanny for the Parker family, she could never have known just how much her world was about to change. Transported to New York and thrown into a glamorous world of homes, designer clothes, and fast cars, Sophie feels out of her depth and yet excited as what the future holds. Her hosts are flirtatious and undeniably attractive, and Sophie cannot resist the temptations that they put in her way. But all is not as it seems, for the Parkers have a mystery secret. Honestly, this was good. It was not what I thought. Literally the first like 2 pages in, you get a really steamy sex part, and you're like, wow, am I reading a book or am I reading 50 Shades of Grey? Because it's like, bam, sex. And it goes like it throughout. But it's got a good story and there's a good concept, and I enjoyed reading it. Like, I couldn't put it down. I really did get like stuck into it. And the ending, it has such a twist at the end that I weren't expecting it. I really enjoyed it. If you like sexy books, I do recommend it, because it is a very sexy romance. It's not even really romance. It has a bit of romance in it, but it's more just sex. And obviously, and I said it was good. The storyline was good. And it had a good twist at the end. That's all I can really say. So yeah, I liked that one. Okay, the next one, Secrets of the Sea House. You can tell I got into this one because I very rarely bend my books or allow my books to get damaged, but I was sitting here reading it like that and breaking my spine because I was getting really into it. So I gave this one a 8 out of 10. And yeah, Scotland, 1860. Reverend Alexander Ferguson takes up his new parish on the Hebridean island of Harris. His time on the island will change the course of his life, but the White House on the edge of the dunes keeps his silence long after Alexander departs. More than a century later, Ruth and Michael buy the building, but their dreams of turning it into a family home are marred by a shocking discovery. The bones of a baby are buried beneath their house, its fragile legs fused together. A mermaid child who buried their bones, and why? Ruth needs to solve the mystery of her new home, but the answer to her questions may lie in the past. I really enjoyed it. How they connect the different point of views together is really well. They collect the history with the present, and it's really good. It's like a mystery, but it's not a mystery. And like you learn about stuff. Like they keep talking about like the Selkies? I think it's like Selkies. Selkies stories. So it's like how like men came from the oceans, kind of thing, and like. Yeah, like they talk about Selkies a lot, and they talk about mermaids a lot, and it was just like a good like mystery without mystery. Like it has a lot of character development, which I really enjoyed. Like Ruth really develops as a character. Like she has like a bad past, and she develops. It's interesting. You don't find out about the mermaid baby until basically the very end, and that's when it connects everything together, which is really good. But the whole time it did have me like really gripping onto the pages. I wanted to know what was going to happen. It keeps the reader engaged, and I highly recommend this book. It's really good. And then my last one is The Famous Five. Five on Treasure Island. I've never read any of the Famous Five books. This is the very first one. And I've got the whole set, so I'm going to gradually read through them. But honestly, I enjoyed this more than I thought. I gave this one an 8 out of 10 as well. So, there was something else out on the sea by the rocks, something dark that seemed to lurch out of the waves. What could it be? Julie and Dick and Anne spend the holidays with their tomboy cousin George and her dog Timmy. One day, George takes them to explore nearby Kieran Island, with its rocky little coast and old ruined castle on the top. Over on the island, they make a thrilling discovery which leads them deep into the dungeons of the castle on a dangerous adventure. Who and what will they find? Like I get this is aimed at kids, but I really enjoyed it. It's a good adventure book. It's easy to read. Has a good story to it, and honestly, the one thing I'm most impressed about is that this was written in 1942. This was first published, and this edition is 1997. And I'm impressed with the character George. So the cousin is called Georgina, but she doesn't want to be a girl. She thinks girls are, she wants to be a boy. So she calls herself George, cuts her hair short, but it's how they have the kids accept that she is George. And the mum, and even at the end, the dad always calls her Georgina. They don't get along with the dad, the uncle. But at the end, when he finally accepts her and calls her George, and it's a really sweet moment. And I think for that time, for them to have acknowledged that a girl would like to be cast as a boy, and maybe I'm thinking way too into it, but I don't know, I thought it was really good how she'd written the character and how she had the character being accepted and everything, whilst usually in that time girls are girls and girly characters, and you don't really hear much about tomboys from that time in books or anything, do you? But they probably had her as a tomboy kind of character, as a character that did not want to be a girl. She did not want to associate herself with two girls. So I don't know, I thought that was really impressive. I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to read more. I'm not going to read them all at once like I do with other series. I'm just going to have it as a pick it up as and when kind of thing. Maybe read one a month or something instead. But it's a good little easy to read book when you want to read something but you don't know what you want to read. But yeah, I highly recommend it. If you haven't read The Famous Five, doesn't matter how old you are, go read them. They're good. I enjoyed it. So there you go. I've talked for too much again about my books. I'm running out of books now. I have 12 I think left on my bookcase, maybe a few more. So if there is a book that you really love, let me know in the comments below and I can check it out and maybe try and read it and give it a review. I do need some more books, so let me know, recommend some books down below. And I think that's everything I've got to say. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I put up videos every week, and that's everything. So I hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the time it is. I hope you've been smiling because that's the most important thing, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!